Welcome back, it's me again, or if you're new here, I am Boy Rose, and it's lovely to see you all. Today's video is going to be a full face of drugstore makeup that I've bought from Boots and Superdrug here in the UK. It's also going to be a full face of first impressions as well, because I've tried to pick stuff that I've never used before and I've done pretty well. I kept it around about £35 for a full face as well, just get on with it. So the first product I picked up was this e.l.f. wowbrow. I got it in the shade brunette. It is a fibre brow gel. I will be using the palette that I got as a mirror, but I will be talking about that more later as I'm quite excited for it. But yeah.
She's very thick.
Sorry once again that I'm going to be looking down a lot through this video. On first impressions alone, it is actually a really good colour. I did tint my eyebrows earlier today, but that's simply because my eyebrows are blonde. So if I don't tint them, I literally look like I've got nothing. I just look like an egg. Humpty Dumpty. Oh, have we just found a new favourite already? Yes, I do now have pink locks and I love it. It was just a bit of a spontaneous lockdown decision. I'm just going to take a clean spoolie and just sort of brush through just to see if that helps even out some of the product, because it has gone a little bit messy on the top of this eyebrow. I don't know why it hasn't on this one, but on this one it has. First off impression, I am actually really impressed. I've never had like a pigmented brow gel that's actually made my brows look this good. The way I do my eyebrows isn't everybody's cup of tea, but I've gone from having like absolutely no eyebrows and now I'm really enjoying having some bush on my brows. I'm gonna clean up my brows a little bit with my next product, which is the 16-hour Camo Concealer by e.l.f. My best friend Gemma has been raving about this product to us for months and months and months and months and months. And I'm just going to take this and use it to just to go in and carve out the underside of my eyebrows, because even though the tops of my eyebrows are still a little bit messy, I know that I can clean that up with foundation. 9 times out of 10 I do just use a concealer as a base, because I feel like they just do just as good a job as any other base. The only base that I have a place in my heart for is the P. Louise bases, but they are just absolutely incredible. It's definitely on my list of things to repurchase. As you can see, I'm just going in with like a flat Morphe brush and I'm just defining the underside of my eyebrow and then just pulling the concealer down and onto my eyelid and blending it out as I go. I'm actually fuming. My camera cut off just after I did my eyebrows, so you've missed a whole review of the e.l.f. poreless putty. But I'll just go back over it. This is the primer. I've got it in Universal Sheer, but I do know that there's 2 other ones that you can get. You can get the mattifying one and you can get the luminous one. Now I have quite combination skin, so like my T-zone gets very oily and the rest of my face gets really dry, so I thought like this would just be a nice middle ground as not to like sort of upset one of the 2 balances, because I do know if I go matte, like I do get flaky, but if I go too dewy I get like proper sweaty upper lip area and my forehead starts like melting down my face and everything. I do have this on right now and it was an absolute dream to blend out. It felt incredible and like it feels so soft and it's got like a nice tackiness to it for the foundation to stick, and I'm excited to put foundation over the top of it. So my next product is something, it's a brand that I've never tried, but I have tried other things from other of their like sister brands, and it's the Revolution Pro Foundation. Right, my phone cut off again, so I can't remember exactly where I got up to, but I do know that this has really good reviews online. I think say it's medium but buildable coverage. I haven't really seen much on these anywhere, but I'm excited to try. Now Superdrug does have a thing where you're not allowed to test products because of the current situation of what's going on. Not too sure if this is going to be my colour at all. We might end up with an absolute disaster, but I think it should be around about alright. I'm just going to put drops of this all over my face. I don't know how much I'm going to need. You're going to have to mind my beauty blender because it was also attacked while I was dyeing my hair the other day. On first impressions, this does feel a little bit light for me, but obviously it may oxidise and it may become a better colour. Just compared to my hand here, you can see that it is quite light. This is a medium coverage, I would say, which I'm not mad at because I do really like a medium coverage foundation at the minute. I'm not so sold on full coverage unless I'm doing a look for Instagram, but for an everyday sort of thing I really do like a medium coverage because I just feel sometimes I can just get really cakey during the day when I'm wearing a full coverage foundation. The true test will be if this lasts on my nose, because for some reason all foundations that I use just break up on my nose. I'm just gonna carefully go around my brows and just tidy up the top. In person it's not actually a bad match, but on camera it's making us look like I'm a ghost. It's got like a nice finish. It's definitely got some dewiness behind it, which I wasn't expecting because I'm sure when I read online it is actually supposed to be a matte foundation, I think. Obviously I'll only know when time tells, but so far my nose looks really good, and it looks really well covered, which I'm shocked, because even most foundations when I put them on I do have like down the bridge of my nose usually does break up while I'm putting the foundation on, so that's amazing. And if it stays like that, then it'll be one of the first foundations I've ever tried that doesn't break up on us. So next will be the proper review for my camo concealer that got cut off. This sort of reminds us of the Tarte Shape Tape. I like to just highlight every point of my face with the concealer, and I always get my concealer a little bit lighter than what I expect I'm going to need. So with this I got the shade Light Sand, and once again with what's going on I couldn't test anyway, but just going by the packaging it does look quite light, especially if you compare it to the foundation drops that I got. But it does look like a good match. Now with every concealer that I own, I always leave it for a couple of seconds before I blend it out because I find that's how I get the best coverage with my concealer. So I am going to start blending out from the chin. It is blending out really nice. It's got a lovely coverage. It does take a little bit of work, but it literally looks flawless. Anybody else? No. That is literally beautiful. I have quite wrinkly under eyes, and I find a lot of the time that the product just sort of instantly creases under my eyes and just looks really awful. But this is the first one that's actually made us feel bright-eyed and like covered for once. Really like that. As you can see, I had quite dark under eyes before, and now I think the next product's going to be quite a shocking one for a lot of people. I know it's a holy grail for a lot of people. It's the Rimmel Stay Matte powder. I got it in the translucent shade, but yeah, like I've never ever in my life, I've never tried this. I remember being at school and like all the girls using it and that, and seeing it all over YouTube, but I wasn't actually interested that much in makeup when I was at school, like wearing it for school. Like I just like to do it outside of school, so I never got to experience it. So today I'm going in, I'm living my youth. Right, I'm actually not being funny, but I really didn't expect much from this video. And I'm just waiting for something to let us down now because my base has never been this flawless in I don't know how long. I don't know if it's the primer, if it's the foundation, if it's the concealer. I don't know what it is. And I'm going to have to try each of them separately with different products. But my base in person looks absolutely incredible. Next up is the collection hashtag blush and glow. It is a quad. So in here we'll have a bronzer, a highlighter and 2 blushes. Now I am definitely more into the illuminating blushes than just the plain matte one. This contour, it does look a bit scary, but I didn't buy a separate bronzer, so I will be using it as a bronzer. I'm just going to go in.
Oh, no.
So far, I don't know if I'm a massive fan of this contour. Contour? It definitely looks muddy. Blending, and it just doesn't seem to want to look. The colour's lovely and everything, but it's just the blendability. It's not blending how I would like it to. And that could be on me using too much. But I never have this problem with any of my other ones. Like even when I use too much and I blend it out. I patted out the contour with my damp beauty blender and it seems to have made like quite a bit of a difference. So I am quite happy with that. Next thing I'm going to go into is I'm going to go into the blush down here, which is the illuminating blush. I don't know how pigmented it is. I actually really like that. Just going to try blend it out a little bit more. The blush has gone on lovely, so I'm assuming it's just the contour that's not exactly the best formula. But this palette was literally £4.99 and I feel like I am trying to compare it to something that it's not. With the same brush that I used for my powder for my highlight. I do like to have quite a glow. I like people to think it's just sweaty or it's just glowing. I do like that. In person it is pulling a little bit grey, but I don't know if it's just a bit too dark for me. Yeah, it's got a nice shine to it, but like overall I'm not too upset for it literally being about £5 for the whole palette. I can't expect absolute miracles. Next is the thing I'm most excited about. So you've probably seen the cover of it while I've been doing my makeup, but this is the creme brulee palette from I Heart Revolution. I think it's absolutely stunning and I love like yellows and oranges on me personally because I do have green eyes and I feel like it does make them pop a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with the shade Caramelized, which is this one down here, and I'm going to pop that in my crease. So far so good because that is quite a nice shade. It's gone on really well. And the thing is with like Revolution and I Heart Revolution, I feel like their products are so pigmented and so lovely for the price. I'm going to go in with the shade Yolk, this one, and I'm just going to use a big fluffy brush and just blend all of that out. I'm going to go in with Flambe, which is this, chuck that in between those colours to transition between when I put a darker colour on. I'm going to risk it and go in with Burnt. I'm just going to swatch this. This is quite an unpigmented colour. You can see by the swatch like that is quite a little bit of a letdown. But it has done a nice job of like deepening the crease. It's quite literally blending away to nothing. Oh, that's actually quite really disappointing. Instead, I'm just going to use the shade Vanilla Pod to try and deepen up the crease. Oh, that's a lot better. Should have zoomed you in so you could see what I was doing a bit better, but that's the purple it's sort of just gone really patchy and like it's just blending away. I'm just whacking it in the crease to begin with. Oh, I've got an itch. So I'm just going to go in with the yolk colour just to blend the edges of the brown out again. Okay, I think I'm satisfied. They're not blending as nicely as what I would want them to, but I have to remember this palette was a £4.99 palette. Next up, I'm just going to take a little bit of the e.l.f. concealer. It's a little domed brush and I'm going to cut my crease. I usually actually use Vaseline to cut my crease, but I've lost mine at the minute. This is fortunately an eyeshadow that's not going to stain my lid and change the colour of the shadow. If I was doing, say, a pink or like a very dark look, usually use the Vaseline underneath because it just completely takes away all of the eyeshadow. If you're wondering why I keep looking, I'm just checking to see if my camera's gone off again. That'll do. Go back in with that Vanilla Pod brown shade, blend that in just so that there's not as much of a harsh line. I'm going to go for the shade Muscovado, which is this coppery lovely shade. Take it on my finger and just pat it on. I know like people say you're supposed to use this finger to pat eyeshadows on because it is your softest finger. Honestly, mine just doesn't work. I don't think I've got enough coordination to do it. I didn't get the chance to pick up a liner. I couldn't find one that I liked and one that I hadn't tried. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in with this shade Torched, which is like a sparkly sort of navy. But I am going to go in and just use this as an eyeliner. And I'm just using an angled brush just to place it along the lash line. I'm going to pop a little bit of this Vanilla Pod under the eye. Oh, that was a nice face. I'm going to blend it out with some of the yolk colour. I am going to go in with the shade Custard. This one up here. It is a highlight for my inner corner. And my brow bone. Beautiful. Next up I have this mascara and it is a curl mascara from MUA. Now this was only £2, so I'm not exactly holding up hope, but this is what the little wand's like. Not a bad wand. I'm not curling my eyelashes either, just so I can get like a good... It's not bad, but it's definitely not the best mascara I've ever used. I didn't pick up any eyelashes either because all the ones in Superdrug I just didn't really like, and all the ones in Boots I would have to take a bank loan out to be able to afford them. But this definitely, it isn't bad, but it isn't the best. If you can hear a talking, it's because my boyfriend's just returned home and he's currently chatting to my mum, even though I put them on strict order not to talk while I was filming. Okay, for £2 that's definitely not bad. It's separated my eyelashes a lot and given them a bit of length. And for the last product I got this Pro Supreme Matte Lip Pigment. Try to say that 3 times fast. And it's in the shade Visionary. Now once again there was no testers in Superdrug, so I just had to go off this sort of little viewing station. These were reduced to £2 from £4. I think it was from Revolution Pro. I feel like my lips are a little bit crusty. It's very creamy. If you've ever tried a liquid lipstick, you'd know that they're quite like watery until they dry down. It's definitely not the case with this. The butter lips are real. I'm not sure if it'll dry down. This is my finished look of a full face of drugstore makeup. I think all of this only cost us about £36-ish. I definitely have found some really good products here, and I found some which aren't as great. Hello, full eyeshadow palette for £4.99 and this, the holy grail now. I'm definitely going to be using these more often. I'm so impressed. I just want to say a massive thank you for watching again, and the response that I had to my first video. It was really overwhelming to see all the positivity and support that I received. I expected it in a million years. I expected to get like 5 subscribers and that was about it, but I hit 54 within 2 days of posting my first video, I think, which I really did never expect. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video, hopefully. Thank you, bye.